All right, look, Celtics got a win. I don't have my ring light on because it isn't working, so I am in fact blending into my background, into the wall behind me. I am in fact that the same shade of white is the shade of white I happen to be right now because, like most of you, I haven't been out in the sun in a long time. You know, that's what quarantining and living in cold Massachusetts does for you. But this isn't about me. This is about the Celtics, and the Celtics got a win tonight. Believe it or not, they actually got a win. They are officially in the record books with a W, and it was against a pretty quality team in the Indiana Pacers, a team that's ahead of the Celtics in the standings and has played a little bit poorly as of late, but still consistently a pretty good team. With an newly minted All-Star, Domantas Sabonis, who just got named to the team today, replacing Kevin Durant, who will not be playing, which pushes Jason Tatum in the starting lineup. That's a story for another day, whether that makes sense to you or not. But regardless of how the Pacers are playing, the Celtics, as we know, if you've been watching or listening or paying any bit of attention to me at all, have been playing not just slightly poorly, but I mean downright awful. Like might as well have been playing in the park next door to me. That's how poorly they've been playing. I mean, not putting in any effort. So looked like more of the same tonight when the game started. The Celtics got out to what? How can you describe this? Not just a tepid start, but an apathetic start. A start that indicated to me that they would rather just call off the rest of the season and say, "Hey, let's plan our vacations, let's get our vaccines, and head to Mexico or whatever tropical location you want to name." But surprising me, they actually fought. They called an early timeout, fought and came back from a terrible start, reclaimed the lead, and kept it the rest of the way. I mean, the Pacers threatened, and they came all the way back in the fourth quarter, which is what anybody who's a reasonable Celtics fan was worried about. Hold on. Sneezing on a stream, that's always good. But and drinking on a stream. What am I doing? Not professional. Come on, Jet. Get it together. Uh, but the where am I? Oh god, this is just a fucking mess right now, huh? It's what happens when I don't have my ring light going. I guess it like focuses me. But the Celtics came back. That's where I'm coming from after that terrible start, and the Pacers in the fourth quarter tried to make it interesting. I'm finding my rhythm again. Tried to make it interesting. I thought the Pacers were just going to win the game as they came back because the Celtics, that's been the story all season long, not even during this terrible streak, but all season long haven't been able to protect the fourth quarter lead. In fact, that goes back to the bubble last year. But they did hang on. They won the game. And the strangest thing about this to me and to really anybody is they won the game in spite of their two-star players. Tatum and Brown didn't play particularly well. In fact, Tatum was downright awful tonight. They won the game because of Kemba Walker, the guy who's been derided the most during this streak of the Celtics losing games and playing like crap. Well, he stepped up big time today. Kemba Walker finishes the night with a game-high 32 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds. He was +3 in the plus-minus, 4 of 10 from 3, 10 of 19 from the floor. Hit a bunch of big baskets when the Celtics needed it. This was vintage Kemba Walker. This is the Kemba Walker that is worth the money he's being paid. This is what you want out of him. But you got to put it with that caveat that we've seen Kemba Walker have some good games and then revert right back to having really terrible games. So I'm not at all convinced this is what Kemba Walker is going to be going forward. I think it's fantastic that you got a good game out of him, but this shouldn't be the expectation for Kemba Walker to put up 30 and you to win a game. Let's look at the guys who struggled tonight. Tatum, I had him as, I think for the first time this season, maybe for the first time since I've been doing these 3 up, 3 downs on Twitter after the game, as my top down performer for the Celtics. He finished with a -7 in the plus-minus. He was a dreadful 4 of 18 from the floor, 1 of 4 from 3. He did have 9 rebounds and 4 assists, which is, decent. Just 9 points for Tatum in 38 minutes, not nearly good enough for what you would expect out of a all-star starter. The Celtics did win, though, in spite of him. And Jaylen Brown, not a great night either. 5 of 12 from the floor, 0 of 2 from 3, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, so he contributed there. But he had 4 turnovers, not great, and 15 points. So neither Tatum nor Brown had a particularly strong game. He won because of Kemba Walker's 32 points. Daniel Tice poured in 17, including a huge three, which normally I would never want Daniel Tice to take at the end of the game, but this time he hit it. So good job, Daniel. And Robert Williams was fantastic off the bench. You can just copy and paste me saying that every single show. Didn't play enough minutes, only 22, but he did out-minute Tristan Thompson tonight, which is a good sign. He finishes the night with 14 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 blocks. He was fantastic on both ends of the court, gave lots of good energy, great offensive option tonight. And really, this is what you're hoping out of Robert Williams. He played Miles Turner, in my opinion, to a draw tonight. Turner had 17 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks. But the Celtics come up with the win, so that's advantage Rob Williams there. Obviously, I'm bringing up Miles Turner because he's the guy that the Celtics could have had in return for a sign and trade for Gordon Hayward. I don't care what anybody else tells you. Trust me, I have excellent sourcing on this. The deal was there. Danny Ainge didn't take it. Believe me, it was there. I have, again, excellent, irreputable sourcing on it that I have no doubt in my mind that this was a trade the Celtics could have made, but chose not to. Fortunately for the people saying they shouldn't have traded for Miles Turner, they got a win tonight because Celtics won the game and Rob Williams played him to, like I said, a draw. So I guess that's advantage Celtics if you want to say that. I'd rather just have them both, but silly me. I'm just a guy talking with no ring light. So you got a really good game from Robert Williams off the bench. You got a nice game from Jeff Teague off the bench. Talk about surprising. 14 points, 3 of 5 shooting. Went to the line 8 times, so kind of like a vintage all-star Jeff Teague going to the line. I can't expect that regularly from him, but it was nice to see him contributing in a positive way instead of a negative way. Peyton Pritchard played a whopping 30 minutes off the bench. He was good tonight too. 4 of 6 from the floor, 1 of 1 from 3, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 9 points. He actually led the team in plus minus with a plus 13. So good game. You got a good contribution from your bench tonight. But the big question is, did the Celtics fix anything tonight? Because they won and they've stopped sort of this bleeding temporarily of these terrible losses that they've had recently. Does this mean that they found sort of the magic pill or an answer? In my opinion, no. I think that it's not necessarily fool's gold, but it's not something you can count on consistently. Certainly, you can't expect to win games when Tatum and Brown play that poorly. You can't expect Kemba Walker to pour in 30 every night. You can't expect, Jeff Teague to come up with 14 in a really efficient game every night. So many things happen tonight that you just can't count on night in and night out. I thought that Brad Stevens played some really curious combinations tonight. There's at one point where he played Teague and Pritchard at the same time, and then that continued on with Teague, Pritchard, and Kemba Walker on the court for a small amount of time. That lineup made no sense to me. To start the fourth quarter, they brought in a cold Javonte Green who hadn't played at all. Could have gone with Aaron Nesmith, who has been getting more minutes, but he played just 7 minutes. He was early out the bench, and then you never saw him again, even though he hustled and played pretty fine. So why not Nesmith in that spot? Why go to a cold Javonte Green who ended up doing nothing? These are still the decisions that are happening. So I feel like the Celtics won sort of in spite of those things tonight. Nothing that I saw from them would really lead me to believe, okay, now they're heading in the right direction. The one thing I'll take away from it is I'll say that I think you can take a positive away from the fact that they fought back from a terrible start. I think if you want to take a good sign and look at the bright side of things, that's something you can say, okay, well, there's something here. The Celtics could have just laid down and died in this game as they did that whole game against the Hawks, but they didn't. So I'll take that away as a positive. But you're not going to win many games when your 2 stars don't play well and when you have to count on Kemba Walker being really efficient from the floor and pouring in 30 points. So we'll see if the Celtics can, take some momentum out of this, because regardless of if you can't replicate a lot of things, you can still get momentum from a win. They only have 3 games left before the All-Star break. So if they could manage to go out with a 4-game win streak, that would go a long way towards building something positive for the second half of the season. We will have to see. I'll be back next game. I believe it's against the Wizards, who gave the Celtics a beatdown just a week and a half ago. I will be back then. Hopefully the Celtics can continue their winning ways. If not, I'll be here to complain about it. If they win, I'll probably be here to complain about it too. You know me. Hopefully my ring light will work then. Thank you, Gregory Castillo. Hashtag get Jet a ring light. I have one. It's just not working. It just quit on me today. It quit on me like the Celtics have quit on the season for the most part. Maybe it's a green teamer and got mad at me complaining about them. I don't know. But I will be back, ring light or not. Thanks everybody for watching. Remember to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, comment. I'll comment back. Tell your friends, family, farm animals, pets, strangers, neighbors, anybody, and check out the show. Thank you, everybody watching. I'll be back for the next Celtics post game. See you then.